Headcount is a brand new 2019 horror film directed by Elle Callahan, who I think this is her directorial debut. I heard of this film from Perry Nemiroff from Collider. Not a big Collider fan these days. I honestly just haven't enjoyed the direction that they've taken as of late, but I've always been a big fan of Perry, and she's covering the Overlook Horror Festival in New Orleans right now, and she was championing this film. She was praising it and saying that it was definitely a worthwhile checkout and that it reminded her of something like a creepypasta. And I 100% agree with all of that. Something that I highly recommend checking out. And it does feel very much like an urban legend of sorts that is created solely for the film. But I always quote that slasher films are like my favorite subgenre of horror, and while they are, I mean, another one, if not even more so, that I love is the uber creepy, atmospheric, slower burn, question everything you see, urban legend slash folklore tales. There's something about those types of films, when done right, like this, I absolutely love. But these are those kinds of films that half the people who I recommend something like this to, they are like, yeah, dude, I get it. It was super creepy and I was into it and whatnot. And then the other half is like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This was boring as shit. Nothing happened. The characters were stupid. It wasn't eerie. It wasn't creepy. There's not enough boo scares for them. There's not enough gore. There's not enough tits. And I like all those things, those aforementioned things right there. But I also like these things. I like horror that earns your attention and earns the unsettling atmosphere that it creates by a clever, unique story, which I feel like we get here. It's reminiscent of something in the past that you've seen, something where you read something aloud and then you're cursed by that thing, or you say something's name 5 times, something along those lines. And I dig those. When they're done well, man, they are possibly my favorite things in horror. I just love that kind of stuff. So there's this guy and he meets up with his brother who he hasn't seen in a long while. And when they are out doing their thing, they run into a group of friends, people they don't know. And the main character here, he goes off with them. He decides, because he is attracted to this young girl, part of their group, and they all go back to the house, leaving the brother behind. He tells him, like, go for it, whatever. And so they go back to the house, and while they're there, he reads this story, and when he reads it, strange occurrences start to happen. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Don't read the IMDb freaking synopsis, man. That is a serious giveaway there. But I'm really impressed by this one. I really enjoyed the shit out of it. It is only available on YouTube, which you're currently watching this on, so you do have that, and Google Play. Those are the only 2 things that Just Watch says that this is available on. I couldn't find it on Amazon. Thank you to Rebecca Reinhardt for renting this for our podcast in the Mic of Madness, which we will be talking about this in full spoiler discussion on Tuesday. Episode will probably be up on Wednesday, though. So I really look forward to getting into this and doing a spoiler breakdown. But for now, spoiler free, I'm very impressed with the director, Elle Callahan. I think this is an incredible directorial debut from what I can tell, and she also wrote the story. Very impressive. I thought that her camera techniques in this were inventive and cool and upped the production value even though it didn't actually up the production value, because you only have as much money as you did. But the film being as low budget, being as one location and that kind of stuff as it was, and having no-name actors and whatnot, there's a lot of cool transition shots where she's like goes through doors, and it's a cool technique, and it makes the film feel like a higher budget than it is. There's a lot of great shots that she earns the eeriness of them, as I talked about earlier. Things in the background, it's like a blink and you miss it. You're not paying attention. You're looking at your phone. You're fucking around. You don't have the attention span because everything needs to jump out at you and keep your attention at all times. This movie isn't gonna work for you. You're actually gonna have to look at the screen, stay off your fucking social media or whatever, and actually soak in all of it, the background, the foreground, everything, and pay attention. And I did, and man, I was very happy with it. I was rewarded for my patience and for my attention. And a film like this just has to earn it, and it did for me. And I'm very impressed with everyone who worked on this. I very much look forward to discussing it on my podcast in the future, and I look forward to seeing what Elle Callahan and the crew do next, because this was a damn good first effort, and I hope that this gets supported. This is cool, low budget, not ultra low budget, low budget. I don't know what the budget would be on something like this, but it's not ultra low, but it's definitely not anywhere near $1 million. I can't imagine that it's anywhere near that. But whatever it was, I was impressed, and my hat's off to them, literally. And I hope you guys check this out. Seriously, I'm rambling because it's super late, but fuck yeah. So look forward to the podcast in the future. Adios.